And we're coming back to you live from our homes. I'm Shaw.
And I'm Zach.
Burder burr, burder burr. His name is Zach, and I am Sean. Burder burr, burder burr. We like to eat on a lawn. Burder burr, burder burr. What do we eat? You don't know. It's the grass. You're a hoe.
Woo! Alrighty. that was that was something.
And can you
Wow.
believe he came up with it on the spot?
Sean, one day I hope to be as talented as you are. Just on the fly like that. The creativity, the juices were flowing. It was insane.
Oh, there was juices.
Anyway.
Don't even get me started on the juices.
I won't. I won't. Moving right along.
Okay, fine, fine. I'll talk about it a bit since you want to
Oh
hear.
no! Oh no! Here we go, audience. Embrace yourselves.
Brace for juice.
Oh my god! What's my? How did we even get here? It's too late for this.
Can we get a merch store item? It's just a shirt that says "Brace for Juice."
It's for juice. You know what? I'm down. It's been a while since we had a new merch idea.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta
Oh, that's
bring
so
in that
funny to me.
YouTube money somehow.
And we do like the I don't know how to describe it. I know what I'm thinking of. I wonder if I can find it here. Um, like the the emoji that's like panting. You know what
Oh,
I'm
I
talking
I
about?
hate that. I know what you're talking about. Actually.
And we have that underneath of it.
That's so stupid. I love it.
It's so oh man. Uh
I'll let Spencer know we need a new merch item.
good,
I'll
good.
send him the
Yeah.
details. He's gonna hate us.
Send him the Excel spreadsheet, man. You know
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
is.
yeah. I'll insert a beautifully beautifully painted picture of what it needs to look like.
Good, good.
I don't know how you
Great.
would carve a shirt, but now I'm curious.
Ching 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 ching. That's how.
Man, I'm so dumb today. That's crazy. This is why you're here. You have all the ideas.
Dude, my brain right now, I didn't even realize this until I started talking to you. It's in the no thinky zone. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's fine, cause I'm kind of there with you, man. It's been a day.
It's been a day. What's your day been like, Zach? Talk me through it.
Man, here's the thing. Today hasn't even been particularly hard or difficult, but last week was spring break, and it's just like getting back into the groove of
Yeah.
school and work. And it was a Monday in general, and man, it was a slog.
That makes sense. Yeah. I
Um,
understand.
Had lots of homework I had to do because I procrastinated all spring break. I finished my midterm just like an hour ago. Great stuff.
Epic.
Actually, speaking of my midterm, I did actually want to bring this up because I think you'll enjoy this.
Okay.
Um, so one of our options for a question was just like to apply one of like the principal beliefs or ideas from one of their readings to a text of our choice. Okay. So like,
Okay.
so I emailed my professor yesterday. I was like, because I was like, can this be any text? Could it be like a fictional piece of work? Can it be like a fantasy book or something? Right? What is this? Any text? Does that mean any text?
Yeah.
Turns out, fiction is completely fine. So I was like, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. So we had one of the readings we did was we had to read some Marx. and we read his all like his philosophies on commodities and like the different values a commodity has and like
Mm,
the labor value and all sorts of crap, right?
yeah.
So I applied that to Mistborn.
Boy, talk me through this. I'm very interested now.
I applied the idea of like commodities and like the value structure of them to Adium and in Mistborn and how that is
Oh,
like and how like the nobility like fight over it is like this huge source of power, yada yada. Like as the desire goes up, so does the like the cost, all sorts of crap like that. But like I basically just took all of Marx's ideas that we read about and just threw it at Mistborn. I'm like, yeah.
hey man, hats off to you. That's amazing.
So I hope I get a good grade because I was slightly invested in that question. But
If
we'll see.
if your professor does not give you 100%, you talk to me. I'm gonna go to him. Listen, I'm a graduate. You know,
Oh,
they listen to graduates.
listen to me.
I got a little pull and sway within the UVU system. I don't want to brag. Probably 99% of my professors don't even remember I was there, you know, like
That's as it should be.
man. That's cool. That sounds like fun. That sounds like an actually cool like midterm or project to do. Yeah.
I like. Here's the thing. Like I feel like I could have enjoyed it more simply because like I just didn't want to just do it so badly that like I was just like BSing half of it, but it's fine.
I understand. Yeah.
But like at least it was like somewhat of an interesting concept. I'm like, all right. I'm like, what? Like any text? I'm like, I mean, Mistborn? Why not? The problem was that like I had to introduce Mistborn and Adium in this paper, right? So like they had some
Right.
vague understanding, and I got to do that in like a paragraph and a half.
You're like, okay, this gonna sound weird. They eat metal.
Well, here's the thing. I actually didn't say that on purpose. I basically, I think I just said that that like specific metals give specific people unique abilities.
You didn't say they gotta eat it first.
Without going into the whole digestive system.
They poop it out. It comes out in little pellets like rabbit poop.
I avoided that simply to avoid confusion because I felt like if I
Wait,
tried to explain even a little bit of that, it would have been like, wait, what the fetch is this guy talking about?
have you read Mistborn's Secret History yet?
No.
Ah, dang. Sorry, I just spoiled that for you, man. That's what gets revealed that if you poop out the metal, it comes
Oh
out as rabbit poop. Yeah.
man,
My bad.
I can't believe you. I'm
That's
devastated.
my bad. That's really my bad. I'm sorry about that, man. It was such a huge reveal too. That's like, freaking Vader's Luke's father level of stuff
I'm
right there,
just not gonna read the book now because you basically spoiled everything. Everything worth caring about has been spoiled. So
I no, and that's totally fair because to be honest, that is the crux that's like the pivot point of the entire Cosmere right there. That is how all of the worlds will come together. Adonalsium, Odium, Ruin and Preservation. It's all gonna come together through Mistborn poop. And I'm telling you, man, I ruined it for you. I'm really sorry about that.
Sean, I've been on such a journey with these books in the last few years. I was invested, and this is what happens. You just spoil it just like that.
Without even a thought. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I'm impressed if you know
And
how all this is coming together, considering not all the books are out. I would love to know that side of it, but it's fine.
well, you remember me telling you this was a while ago, so maybe you don't. You remember me telling you the theory for Stormlight 5 is the cows of war?
Oh
Remember me telling you about
yeah,
this?
I vague memory, but I remember I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Cows of War. The Shin unveiled their battle cows, spelled with a K because the Alethi have never seen cows before. Um, and the cows produce so much methane that it causes climate change and the destruction of Roshar. Um, well, how do they produce methane? Through burping and excreting.
Oh, oh. We're all
The
getting back to that
cows
poop.
are mistborn.
Cows are mistborn. Now that would be wild.
Can you imagine?
Because didn't this whole theory come from like the naming scheme he has going on?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That would put a whole new meaning on, the cow jumped over the moon. You know what I'm saying? If it's on Roshar, it's got to jump over a bunch of moons.
Are you telling me that was literal the entire time?
That's 100% literal. It was about a mistborn cow.
Fetch! Fetch! It was right in front of me the whole time. How did we get here? This is gonna be an episode. I'm so sorry for the future listeners of this. Future Zach,
You're
I'm
the future
sorry.
This is one of those episodes that will be very polarizing for me personally. I will either go back and really laugh at this, or I will go back and I will cringe so hard I literally turn inside out. Like that is how hard I will cringe.
Wow.
There will be no middle ground with this episode.
Can I be
So.
there when you rewatch this? I just want to see which
You want,
outcome there is.
you want to have a watch party for
Yeah.
semester 8, episode 17 or whatever?
Hey, mark it on the calendar. I'll be there. You
I'll
know
see
what?
you in a
We'll
year,
invite the
buddy.
whole family.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? We gather my family around and your family around, and we all sit down together and watch this episode of Spicy Nuggets.
I would actually just have to leave the room.
No,
I
me
could
too.
not physically be there
No.
for
No,
for
not-
any Spicy Nuggets episode, particularly this one.
No, yeah, like imagine sitting through pooping his art with someone else there. Like,
Okay, well, Sean, what do you mean? That was pretty good, let's be honest.
I mean, it wasn't art, the episode itself, because it wasn't poop, but it was an episode.
It's as close to art as you can get without it being poop.
Wow. I don't think we said art is only poop. I think we just said that poop is art. We just included it into the definition of art already.
Hey, you know what? It's been so long I've forgotten, so it's great. Um, but that doesn't take long when you have the memory of a snail. So
What is I think my favorite episode title, and I can't even remember the full name of it. But it was like Kangaroo Pouches, Buttholes, and the Morality of Seeking Truth or something like that.
here's the thing. I don't even have a say in like any of the titles. You just always come up with something that fits super well. And you know what? I believe that happened. That's the worst part.
Well, fits super well is pretty relative term. I'm not gonna lie. Usually, I try to grab like the main discussion points, but like for that one in particular, I'm pretty sure I told one joke, and that's it. Like we didn't go into it further than that. We didn't like build a bit off of that joke, but I just liked that joke so much that I made it the title.
Hey, that joke carried that episode of Spicy Nugs, alright?
Probably.
You
I
give
don't
it the
remember-
credit it deserves.
Like, I don't remember our discussion on the morality of seeking truth, but I'll tell you what I do remember is that joke about kangaroo
Hey,
pouches and
hey.
buttholes.
I'm just saying. Facts don't lie, Sean. If that's what you remember, then
You know-
probably
oh,
didn't carry it.
Speaking of the structure of episodes, so last episode, we got really meta, and we recognized what we were doing to ourselves by
Yeah.
rewatching our own stuff, right?
Yep.
So I was editing that episode on Saturday,
Did
re-listening
you ever
through.
recover?
No, I'm still messed up, man. But But I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, we never sang a song in this episode.
Wait, really?
We didn't. We didn't
No.
do so.
No.
So editing Sean made a song, and when it comes out, like it's not out yet, but when it comes out, it might be an episode worth checking out. I'm just gonna say.
I'm curious, and I'd like to thank future Sean, who is now past Sean, for saving past us in our quest to have a new outro song for every episode this semester.
Yeah, after you listen to the song, you might not think him as hard. I don't know.
Hey, a song is a song. We didn't have the claim that it would be a good outro song.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm not saying it's a bad song. In fact, personally, I think it's a really good song. I found a really great chord progression that I've never used before, and it just like really flowed really well. But what it says about us personally maybe isn't.
Oh, I don't know if I should be concerned or not.
I think it'll be great. Yeah.
You know what?
Don't even worry.
I have full confidence in you and your abilities to create things on the spot, like I just said previously. So, future song Sean / past Sean, thanks.
Man, this is confusing.
Current Sean, I mean, yeah, just whatever.
Yeah, I get that.
No, I didn't mean it.
I did. Man, I didn't even think before saying that.
All right. Well, Sean, I'm gonna take us off this 17-minute tangent we've been on.
Are you gonna try to make me think today?
A little bit, but it's actually past you's fault.
Gosh, I hate that guy. Messes up everything.
Because I was listening to an episode of your podcast yesterday, 2 days ago. I mean, I had to scout out the competition.
You mean a cursory glance at the momentum of heart only on Spotify?
That's the
Link
one.
in the description.
And did I have to look up that name? Yes, I did, because I couldn't remember it.
Nobody can.
And the best, I felt so validated after that, because I think the very opening line of that was, he's like, I can't remember if it was you who said it or not. I don't think it was. But it was like, you welcomed everyone to the podcast to, and he's like, and did I just read that name? Yes, I did. I was like,
yeah.
Yep, thanks,
Yes.
thanks. I'm not the only one. Hang on, a cursory glance at the momentum of the heart.
Yep, that's it.
Dude, I'm a
It
genius.
rolls. It flows right off the tongue. Like
I'll never
freaking-
forget it now.
like a pebble being ground through like a cheese grater. That's how well it flows.
That's pretty smooth. It's almost
Goes down smooth.
It's almost as smooth as Barbie's jazz.
Anyways, sorry. It's gonna be one of those episodes.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
you listened to my podcast and you had a deep thought because of it, because of me.
I did. So I was listening to, I think that's your 4th episode. It's where you actually like are talking about the song that you made.
Yes.
Senseless Possibilities.
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
That's the one. I mean, let's be honest, it was a terrible podcast. It was really boring. I wasn't there. Could have been better if there was more me, but it's fine.
And hey, if you want to listen to things that Zach hates, go on down to the description below.
No. But in all honesty, it was actually really good. I enjoyed it. But you were talking a little bit.
I meant to say
about...
thank you for that. Anyways, continue. I just absorbed that compliment.
It's fine. My validation and approval doesn't mean much. So, but we're not going to get anywhere today. Holy fuck. Okay. you were talking about senseless possibilities and like how you like started creating the song, and some of your thoughts you had with it, and you got to a point where you were like, yeah, I had finished like the first draft or something, and like I was feeling really good with it, and I came back a few days later, and I absolutely hated everything about it.
Yeah.
um, and man, I related to that sentence so much. I'm just like in any in not any, but like there's some creative works that like in the moment I'm like yes, like I finally have a first draft. I'm feeling great about this. And like I'm really excited. And like this is it. And then I come back and it's like, what the fetch is this? This is actual garbage. Like and like and then I think back remembering that I thought it was good at the time. Like I was crazy.
Yeah.
But then you guys of course ended up talking a bit about like how you changed it from there, some of the issues you found with it, and it is to where it is today. So I want to talk a little bit about this idea of coming back to something you're working on that you previously liked, and all of a sudden like it's not what you thought it was. You hate it, and even if you can't understand why. Because I have a few just like ideas with this. I'll throw a couple at you, and if you have an idea, just spat it out or something. As you can
Yeah.
see, I came very prepared.
Go ahead and take
No,
out your notebook. Yeah.
no, Russell.
Russell.
Pretty convincing, right? Pretty convincing.
What do you mean? You grabbed a notebook. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So I guess my
Yeah.
first question is, when something like this happens, um, it's kind of like it gives me like the same idea as like an artist who is working on a piece of digital art. I don't know if you've seen any like speed painting or anything done, but a lot of times, they will flip the image so they will mirror what they've been looking at like every I don't know hour or 30 minutes just to get a different perspective because things will jump
Oh,
out at them that they didn't notice before they mirrored it.
interesting.
um,
Huh.
so my first idea is like when it comes to like maybe creating music, writing a story, whatever you're doing that is creative, do you think that you just like get so absorbed in the process that small things that you would normally catch just like um maybe don't like fly by you, or like you make mistakes, or like you just get so absorbed in the process itself and enjoying the process that what you what that whatever you think you made is has to be good, but once you come back and you're more objective, maybe that's when you're like, oh, on second thought.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think it's twofold though. I think the process is the first part of it. It's the flow state, right? It's that
Right,
kind of
right.
idea where you're no longer like worried about the future or the past. You're just in that moment, you're creating, and it's coming together like in a really cool way. But I think the other part of that is probably like the vision in your head of what it is or what it will be. Um, that's like that driving force behind the process. And so
Right.
you get like this, you almost like set what you're creating like on a pedestal, and you're like, this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be incredible. This is going to change everything. If you're like really pretentious, then maybe that's what happens. I don't know. But like but like so you do that, and then as you continue the process, you get so full into it. And then I think like many things you put on a pedestal, maybe when you come back to it later, suddenly you realize, oh, I've put this on a pedestal and there's still like a lot of problems.
Mm.
So that's what I think of. I think it's like you've built it up so high that when it doesn't meet the expectations later on, you're like, oh shoot, what did I do? Like,
Right.
yeah.
So why? Because I absolutely agree with that idea. Um, especially when it comes to like, because the idea in your head is like it's so grand, and you don't know maybe not exactly, but you have this like grand vision, right? And then I feel like
Hmm.
trying to get it down is like part of the process. But why do you
Yeah.
think that in the moment it feels like you're achieving that, but when you come back later, it feels like you're so far from what you thought you were getting at?
I wonder I wonder if going back to this idea of setting it on a pedestal, if in that time you leave it, what are you left with in that time? You're left with the memory of the process. You're left with the memory of that flow state, and you're left with the memory of what that thing on the pedestal is, what it's supposed to be.
Mm.
And so that memory causes it to be even like grander than it what you wanted it to be originally. This might be reaching a bit, but like uh, you reach that point. So then when you come back, it's just like reality. I feel because I feel like a lot of times like an editing process on any creative work is like a reality process. Whereas I don't know, personally for me, a lot of times the editing is really tough because it's just like it just like it points out every single problem to you, or you're not able to see the problems and you're just like there's something wrong but I don't know what it is and I can't fix it because of that, and so it becomes this big frustration. So now that you've come back and it's like you're not in a flow state anymore, you're just like hitting your head against a wall with something that you've made.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. Do you think you can get into a flow state in editing?
I think so. um I just personally for me, I feel like a lot of times, because like I mean, fetch. We pulled out my Captain Zack Sparrow folder the other day, and like I told you, the other half of it is just filled with the beginnings of stories. There's
Yeah.
a reason for that. There's a reason that it's just the beginnings of a bunch of stories. It's because I put whatever story it was on a ped. I did this exactly. I went into a flow state. I wrote out whatever it was. I was like, this is super cool. And then I came back to it later and I was like, I read through it and I was like, realized it was not as good as it was. And I tried to fix it and wasn't able to. So I moved on to something else.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so for me personally, at least, a lot of times that's a harder process. I think just because like you're supposed to be like, oh, mistakes are like, a stepping stone. Mistakes are part of the journey, all this stuff like that. But it's harder to like look it straight in the face and be like, I guess I got to take time instead of like easily breezily create this thing in like one majestic moment. It's got to be like like a grind.
Okay. So I really like what you said about like uh, maybe it's like part of a process. So that leads me to the next question I wanted to bring up. Is this is it just simply part of the creative process for maybe not all works but some work or even a lot of works, or does that sense that you come back and you hate it mean that there is something fundamentally wrong with it?
I don't think so. Referencing the episode you listened to of um, my podcast with Ben. What I found interesting in explaining this to him, and I'm sure he's had a similar experience, is when I was like, I hated it. Like I hated it. And his question was like, why? Like, why did you hate it? Because like I let him listen to that original version and he never seemed to think there was like anything too wrong with it. Right. Um, so it was like this like I don't think like the idea that there's something fundamentally wrong necessarily is true. I just think I guess what I'm saying is it's part of the creative process. I think of have you ever played or watched a playthrough of The Beginner's Guide? It was a game made by the guy who made the Stanley Parable.
That
You ever heard of it?
sounds so familiar, but it's not
I
like
might
ringing a
have
bell.
I might have recommended to you a long time ago. It's a guy like explaining his friend who has made a bunch of games and showing you through the games he has made.
Oh yes, 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 yes! It was
Yes.
awesome.
Incredible experience. One of the things that stands out to me at the end, in the devastating realization of everything in that final game, that's literally made to be unplayable, and he like skips you past parts so you can see it, and you read the writing on the wall of the friend being like, "You're ruining my games. Like you're ruining my creative process. You are assuming things about me, but I think it says a lot more about you than it does about me." And one
Right.
of the things he says in it, and it's so I read it, was that um, lows are just part of the process.
Sean,
Um,
Sean, say that one
because
more time.
I think just like the art that you're making, oh, lows are part of the process. Do you get that?
Yeah, yeah, you cut out. Keep going.
Yeah, that's okay. So lows are part of the process. So just the idea, like, um, I think the same thing we do with whatever we're creating, we put it on a pedestal. The very idea of creativity, I think, is put on a pedestal. It because when we think of creativity, we think of like a creative person in a flow state, creating something amazing, creating something nobody else can. But we don't envision the true grind that it takes to get there. And so I think the honesty behind that statement, lows are just part of this process. Part of the process is looking at what I've made and being like, fetch, this is not very good. And I don't know why, and trying to figure that out. And it's not a fun part of the process, but it just is part of the process, I think. I don't know.
Sean, I'm glad you brought your I know everything tie today and just answered the all of the mysteries surrounding creativity
Uh,
and the lows of doing so.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to brag, or anything like that, because like, what's there to brag about? I'm just like, I'm only human, just like everybody else, but I am a little bit better than everybody else. And I guess that's something to brag about.
You heard it here first, folks. Sean actually has never has any creative lows. What he said on his podcast was all a lie, and
All I'm saying, listen. All I'm saying is you'll never have any creative lows if you just always give up whenever you see something is wrong in your art.
thank you all so much for watching. I'm still Zach.
I'm still shocked.
We'll see you next time.
Burr, burr, burr. His name is Zach, and I am Sean. Burr, burr, burr. We like to eat on a lawn. Ba. What do we eat? You don't know. It's the grass. You're a hoe.
Maybe you're just wrong.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Kind of crazy, right?
Oh, wait,
Oh,
Zach,
wait, I'm waiting.
was none of that professor stuff recorded, or was
No,
all of it?
none of it.
Not a bit of it.
Not a tiny bit.
So we're doing this new thing where we start a call, immediately jump into a bit,
Uh
do not
huh.
record it, just do it for us personally.
This was always about me, Sean.
And then when we actually start recording, I assume we've started recording now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard some clicking happening.
Yeah.
I once we actually start recording, we just talk about literally nothing. We don't even be entertaining.
Wait. I'm supposed to be entertaining after I start recording?
This explains why the podcast has sucked for so long.
Man, I'm sorry. That's on me, dude. I'll try better.
You know what? Be better.
No, I'll think about it.